Hello everybody, it's me, your good friend Sparky, and it's time.
What's going on? Why doesn't the cannon fire? What's happening here? It's my grandfather, Gerald Robotnik.
What's that vibration?
Hey, wait! Someone is coming!
You haven't given up yet?
It's all over for us.
What do you mean?
I just received a message from my boss. This space colony Ark is currently approaching the Earth at an incredible velocity. It probably will impact Earth.
What's that on the screen?
This is a death sentence for every human being on Earth. If my calculations are correct, the space colony Ark will impact the Earth in 27 minutes and 53 seconds. All of you will be destroyed, along with your beloved planet Earth. I plan to give you a taste of my revenge once all the 7 Chaos Emeralds are collected. Once I initiate this program, it cannot be disabled. All of you ungrateful humans who took everything away from me will feel my loss and despair.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Ready!
What's going on here? Who is that?
I plan to give you a taste of my revenge.
The vibration's getting worse.
Professor Gerald Robotnik, one of the greatest scientific minds in the world, and my grandfather.
What? I knew you were behind all this. Stop it right now, or else...
I'd have done this a long time ago if I had the chance.
What do you mean?
You're pretty persistent for a hedgehog, aren't you? You're still alive,
Just
huh?
letting Knuckles pilot the shuttle on the way over here was more dangerous than you could ever be.
What is this?
This is my grandfather's diary.
I don't quite know what happened or what went wrong. Was it a mistake to create the ultimate life form? I thought it would be something that would benefit mankind, but then the military guards landed on the colony that day. They were sent to destroy the research project that I had been working on. My colleagues at the research facility, my granddaughter, Maria, I hope you are all safe. The colony was completely shut down, probably to keep the prototype from falling into the wrong hands.
The Ark was shut down under the premise that there had been an accident. I found Maria's name among those who died when the Ark was shut down. She meant everything to me, and I couldn't bear the thought that she died because of my research. I lost everything. I had nothing more to live for. I went insane. All I could think about was to avenge her. Somehow, some way. I got scared as I no longer was able to control my thoughts. All I could think about was that I wanted it all to be. Based on my original projections, I was able to complete my project, Shadow. I designed its mind to be perfect. Pure. I will leave everything to him. If you wish, release and awaken it
If
to
you
the
wish
world.
to fill the world with destruction, Oh, so that's why you released Shadow from the base.
The core of the Eclipse Cannon is now highly reactive and explosive. This is because the Chaos Emerald is overpowered. If the colony collides with Earth, it will shatter into pieces like my grandfather predicted. That mad scientist!
That should be you, right? We have to stop the space colony now!
The space colony arc position may have shifted due to the amount of energy given off by the emeralds. We have to stop the energy.
But how?
That's it. There is a way to stop the energy. We have to use your emerald. You're the one that told me that the Master Emerald has the power to stop the Chaos Emerald.
That's right. If I use this, I just might be able to stop the Chaos Emerald.
The reaction of the Chaos Emerald is moving towards the cannon's core. It may be too late.
There still may be some time left. If we pull together, we might be able to get to the shortcut that leads to the core.
No worries. Just leave it to me. I'm the world's fastest hedgehog.
Then, let's get to work!
Welcome one and all to the final level of Sonic Adventure 2, Cannon's Core. We are officially in the endgame of the Sonic Adventure 2 Chronological Let's Play. Everybody is banding together to prevent the destruction of Earth by stopping the Chaos Emeralds and preventing the Ark from falling. And Cannon's Core is quite the marathon stage. Everyone has their own sort of section in the finale here, and this level, you play as 5 of the 6 different characters. Starting, of course, here with Tails. Cannon's Core has its own stage gimmick too, with these time switches that are littered around the stage. Shooting them, touching them, hitting them, whatever you do, it pauses time temporarily, and it is necessary to use these time switches in order to navigate around the stage. Otherwise, there will be laser barriers in the way, or platforms will be in the wrong place, or things will fall on your head or fall out from under your feet. It is a stage that is just all about timing and all about correctly hitting these switches and getting through the stage in one piece. Because there's very little in the way of checkpoints, this stage is flooded with enemies, and it can be pretty tough to get through it. Now it is Dr. Eggman's turn, now that Tails has made it through the first checkpoint. Though, honestly, it's interesting that Dr. Eggman is helping at all, considering he was planning on attacking the Earth with the Eclipse Cannon anyway. But I guess if Dr. Eggman can't destroy the world, then he doesn't want anybody to destroy the world. It is his destiny to rule on. The mech stages themselves during the Cannon's Core, well, the mech sections of the stage, rather, are not too bad. There's just a lot of enemies typically you need to keep track of. But for the most part, getting around obstacles just revolves around shooting the time switches at the proper moments. If you don't, it can be pretty tricky to make your way through things. And actually, a pretty cool detail about these time switches is that it literally does pause all time. You can't interact with Omochao at all, and the timer itself for the stage stops. You can't actually pause the time at strategic locations to get better time bonuses for this stage, too. Because yes, like all the other stages, this stage does have a rank. Which, it's honestly pretty difficult to get a expertly good end rank on Cannon's Core. I don't think I've ever done it. But all the same, it's definitely worthy of the final challenge of this game, I'd say. There is a lot that can go wrong if you're not careful. There are a lot of traps you can fall into. And just the sheer length of it. The majority of this video is that 6-minute long opening cutscene and Cannon's core. This really is a marathon stage. You've got to be really on your game in order to get through this in a decent time and get a decent score all the same. That being said, I'm really just kind of playing to the best of my abilities here. Cannon's core, I've never really taken the time to truly, like, practice getting a good end rank here. So it's definitely something that one day I'd like to do. And maybe actually get an A rank here. When that day will be, I don't really know. But Dr. Eggman's section of the stage is now done, and next we are moving on to Rouge the Bat. In order to get to the next checkpoint, get to the next part of the stage, Rouge has to drain water into this chamber here. And honestly, the treasure hunting characters' versions of these stages are where the level's difficulty really starts to pick up. For the most part, the mech stages aren't too bad. Here, it starts to become a lot more about timing and hitting these time switches at the appropriate moments in order to correctly get through the stages. Like right here, if you're not careful, you can get blockaded in, and you won't be able to actually make it into this room by those floating blocks. Hit the switch here, you open the switch in the main room, and then you have to get back out. Which is, again, gonna be all about timing. Getting out of this room isn't too bad because you can just walk right through because the blocks are moving in the right direction. But to get out of the green goo chamber here, we need to timing the pressing of the time switch appropriately, because if you don't, there's gonna be blocks in the way and you're gonna be blocked from leaving, like this. And, yeah. That, didn't go as planned and ended up a bit silly there for poor Rouge. But here, we can actually finish Rouge's section of the stage. But honestly, losing a life does bring up an interesting point about Cannon's core. Unlike every other stage of the game, if you lose a life, your score does not reset to 0. I guess they decided to at least show a little mercy on the crew going for all A ranks with this one. And now it is Knuckles' turn to get to the next checkpoint, or open the door to the next area, which requires basically an entire stage that is underwater. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why the air necklace is absolutely a necessary power-up. Otherwise, on top of trying to just get through this section in general, you are constantly having to stop for air bubbles if you don't have the air necklace, because Knuckles will very easily drown if you're not careful. The air necklace basically becomes a requirement for this section of the game. At least a requirement if you want an easier time getting through it. Now, we have these parts of the game where sort of the flow of water is going to be pushing Knuckles backwards. And so, you have to find the time switches and hit them in order to get through these sections. Timing is very, very tight at these parts of the level. Knuckles is probably one of the more difficult sections because of it. Just because of how kind of slowly you move underwater and how little time you actually have to actually get through these parts. You can hear the timer kind of counting down as you go. And once it stops, time resumes, and you can end up getting forced backwards or end up hit with a trap that you're not expecting. But Knuckles opens up the door to the next checkpoint, and it is time for the final section of the level to follow. Which, as you could probably guess, is going to be featuring good old Sonic the Hedgehog. Shadow does not take part in the cannon's core. He's kind of off doing his own thing right now. But we'll catch up with him eventually. But since Shadow was the one trying to coax Dr. Eggman into bringing all the Chaos Emeralds here to begin with, chances are Shadow already knew this was going to happen, so why would he want to stop the arc from falling when that was basically his goal all along? And, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I just kind of screwed up and messed up. These gun robots with the shields are kind of problematic, just because they can block a lot of your attacks. The ideal way to take them out is to somersault underneath them when you're playing as the speed characters. But, that doesn't always work either, so yeah. And then we have this section here where the water is flowing, and Sonic needs to pause time in order to get through the area. And this part here, if you're not careful, you can end up getting swept backwards and you can lose another life, which is definitely not fun. But this is officially the final stretch of the cannon's core. One crazy water slide downwards, and we can finally make it to the core itself. After quite a long water slide, actually. And that's gonna wrap it up for right now. Thank you very much for watching the Sonic Adventure 2 Chronological Let's Play. This is your good friend Sparky. I'll see you in the finale.
I hate it when they leave me behind. Look, it's Shadow. I really gotta stop whining. Everyone's trying their best to help out, and so must I. Shadow, we need you. Please help us.
It's all going according to plan. There's no reason for me to help them. Besides, there's no way to save anyone.
There has to be. I know that people fight over the most trivial things. Some people may be selfish, like the professor said. But they're basically good if they try their best and never give up on their wishes. They always have a reason to be happy. That's why you should help them out. Saving them is a good thing. Shadow, I beg you, please do it for them. Give them a chance.
Shadow, I beg of you, please, do it for me.
Maria!
Future for all people who live on that planet. Give them a chance to be happy. Let them live for their dreams. Shadow, I know you can do it. That's the reason why you were brought into this world. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
I promised her, and I must keep that promise. That's what Maria wished for. I've got to go now. I have to keep my promise to Maria.